San Francisco, 1906. A camera mounted on a streetcar captures something extraordinary. Market Street in all its chaotic glory. Horse-drawn carriages, early automobiles, pedestrians weaving through traffic. A world full of life and energy. Mere days later, the great earthquake struck, and nearly everything visible in these frames was destroyed. The film became the rare surviving moving image record of what the city looked like before the disaster. The film has long been free from copyright. In fact, I have not been able to find a copyright registration. Not in Walls's overview of motion pictures between 1894 and 1912, nor in the card catalogue of the US Copyright Office, nor in the catalogue of copyright entries. This was a weekly Treasury publication of registered titles for which the copyright had been completed by the deposit of 2 copies. Perhaps registering the film for copyright was not the priority when a city lay in ruins. Today, you can download the film freely from the Library of Congress, digitized from a copy they later acquired, not just legally free, but actually accessible. This is the public domain when it truly works. Fast forward to 1974. Avant-garde filmmaker Ernie Geer came upon this footage and transformed it completely. He slowed it down drastically, stretching 8.5 minutes into a dreamlike half hour. Suddenly, we're not just watching 1906 San Francisco. We're seeing dust particles, film scratches, the very texture of cinema itself. He called it Eureka, after a cart visible at the film's end. Eureka literally means, I have found it, both a declaration of discovery and a playful wink to the film's history. Geer's copy didn't come from the Library of Congress or any other official archive. It came through personal networks, from film scholar friends who had their own personal copies. Geer's revision shows us how the public domain works at its best. One person's record becomes another person's raw material. A document of urban life turns into a meditation on time, memory, and the fragility of images. The original filmmakers could perhaps never have imagined this transformation, yet here it is, culture building upon itself, re-seeing with new eyes. Then 2021 arrives. The same footage, scanned in high resolution from a print struck from the original camera negative and colorized using artificial intelligence. Faces come alive with expression. Fabrics shimmer. The past, comfortably distant in grainy black and white, suddenly feels unsettlingly close. Despite the somewhat unrealistic colors, the footage makes 1906 feel real in ways the original somehow does not. A trip down Market Street is lucky, not because it lacked copyright, but because it remained accessible. Digitized, downloadable, genuinely available. Most surviving early films exist in what law professor Pam Samuelson calls the theoretical public domain. Imagine a 19th century painting. Legally, its copyright expired long ago. But if it's locked in a private collection, never photographed, never exhibited, it's only public domain in theory. Legal freedom does not mean all that much without access. Films, unlike paintings, were designed to exist as multiples. Prints struck from negatives, distributed to cinemas, shown simultaneously across cities. But catastrophic loss has changed this. It is estimated that only 20% of early cinema survives. Those survivors often exist as single copies. They've become, in effect, the equivalents of unique originals, controlled by whoever safeguards them. Many archives restrict downloads of this legally free material. The reasons are complex: lost licensing revenue, preservation costs, ethical concerns about colonial imagery, and racist content. Archives position themselves as necessary mediators. You need us to understand this properly, to engage responsibly. And there is truth there. Digitization is expensive. Context matters. But this chaperone model, as film heritage scholar Giovanna Fossati has termed it, can become an excuse for control rather than service. Yet some fine art institutions, dealing with actual unique originals, have found another way. The Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, for instance, chose differently. They released numerous high-resolution images for download, completely free. Did people stop visiting? No. Crowds lined up for months to see Vermeer's originals. Open access strengthened their authority. The fundamental question remains, what good is legal freedom if practical barriers make it meaningless? Culture thrives not under control, but through circulation, reuse, and reinterpretation. The public domain, as legal scholar James Boyle reminds us, is the basis for our art, our science, and our self-understanding. It is the raw material from which new cultural works are created. But the true measure of the public domain lies not just in legal status, but in practical accessibility. Perhaps this is the defining question of our time. Will the expanded public domain become a birthplace for new creativity, or will it remain a theoretical construct, free in name, but absent in reality? This trip down Market Street through 1906, 1974, and 2021 suggests an answer. Culture is not static. It grows when it circulates. It thrives when it is re-seen with other eyes. And its promise is fulfilled not through protection or control, but through freedom of access. So let us take this ride again, and again, not as guardians clutching treasures, but as participants in a shared inheritance, rediscovering what belongs to all of us.